Here are 7 major reported enhancements for the iPhone 17 Pro. With these huge changes approaching, you may want to wait until September. The iPhone 16 Pro is fresh and exciting, but its replacement is coming soon. Since Apple comes out with new numbered iPhone models every September, we're about halfway through the current generation. Should you wait for the iPhone 17 Pro instead of getting an iPhone 16 Pro today? It may be. There are rumors that the next generation of Pro iPhones will include these 7 enhancements. Since the iPhone 14 Pro came out with Dynamic Island, Pro iPhones haven't changed their style. However, it seems like the iPhone 17 Pro will feature a dramatic new appearance when it comes later this year. The Pro iPhone's triple camera array will no longer be contained to a raised rectangle, but instead be part of a block that spans around the back of the smartphone. It's a polarizing appearance that will make your new phone stand out. Except for the iPhone 14's non-Pro phones, which inherit the same A15 chipset as those used in the iPhone 13, each successive generation of Apple device receives a CPU boost. For the iPhone 17 Pro, that implies an upgrade to the A19 Pro. This was initially rumored to be made using the 2nm technology, but that assumption has since been rolled back, and we now think it will employ an enhanced version of TSMC 3nm process. With no leaked benchmarks yet, it's probably safer to assume it will deliver the same approximately 20% performance gain that Apple processor updates generally provide. Hopefully, this upgraded 3nm technique will help boost efficiency improvements and battery life. 1. Vapor chamber cooling. Yes, Apple has been rumored to adopt vapor chamber cooling since 2021, but the iPhone 17 Pro series may really be the first to benefit from it, providing improved performance with less possibility of thermal throttling when under strain. The fact that it's been tipped for 4 years isn't why this is a maybe, however. While some claim both Pro devices would feature vapor chamber cooling this year, the analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes it will be confined to only the iPhone 17 Pro Max model, which would be upsetting for consumers of the normal Pro. 2. 4 gigs or more RAM. The iPhone Pro models have featured 8 gigs RAM for the last 2 generations. This year, the non-Pro models equaled that, but it seems like the flagship handsets will retake the lead again in 2025. Both Jeff Pugh and Ming-Chi Kuo have projected the iPhone 17 Pro versions to gain an additional 4 gigs RAM, pushing them to 12 gigs. Given the non-Pro upgrade was for Apple Intelligence-related reasons, it could hint to more RAM-intensive AI techniques to come this generation. The iPhone 16 Pro's triple camera array features 2 48-megapixel sensors and a telephoto lens fixed at 12 megapixels. This odd one-out sensor will be updated to 48 megapixels this year, which might greatly enhance the quality of long-range pictures and possibly boost distant video recording concurrently. However, on the camera side, one leaker anticipates the 48 megapixels telephoto camera improvement to come at the sacrifice of zoom capabilities. Majin Buu, who has a mixed reputation for reliable leaks, believes that the iPhone 17 Pro's telephoto lens will feature a 3.5x optical zoom, which is a decrease from the 5x magnification on the iPhone 16 Pro. The additional pixels on the 48-megapixel sensor will be directed toward allowing a 7x hybrid zoom under this situation. The telephoto lens could not be the only camera receiving an improvement this year. Apple's selfie cameras have lingered at 12 megapixels since the iPhone 11 launched in 2019. Although with the inclusion of an f/1.9 aperture and autofocus with the iPhone 14. It will apparently receive an update in 2024, with the whole iPhone 17 family's selfie camera being raised to 24 megapixels, but leaping from a 5-element lens to a 6-element one. That should lead to brighter visuals with less distortion, if true. If you want a phone that will fill its battery rapidly, the iPhone is not the gadget for you. Officially, the iPhone only delivers 20-watt charging, a long cry from the 100-watt charging rates given by the OnePlus 13. However, a GS Securities paper indicates the iPhone 17 range is projected to become speedier. It's not much quicker, but a bit with 35-watt wired speeds. In reality, this may not make all that much of a difference. Despite the 20-watt official rating, the iPhone 13 Pro Max was proved to touch 27-watt speeds back in 2021. However, it's always conceivable this too may surpass its official limit. 4. Slightly quicker charging. If you want a phone that will fill its battery rapidly, the iPhone is not the gadget for you. Officially, the iPhone only delivers 20-watt charging, a long cry from the 100-watt charging rates given by the OnePlus 13. However, a GF Securities paper indicates the iPhone 17 range is projected to become speedier. It's not much quicker, but a bit with 35-watt wired speeds. In reality, this may not make all that much of a difference. Despite the 20-watt official rating, the iPhone 13 Pro Max was proved to touch 27-watt speeds back in 2021. However, it's always conceivable this, too, may surpass its official limit. Taken separately, none of these enhancements are all that intriguing, save for a 48 megapixels telephoto lens. But collectively, they add up to a phone that should be a big boost to its predecessor. While this is based on speculations, albeit trustworthy ones, it's looking quite positive. With 6 months until Tim Cook is slated to show off new devices on stage in Cupertino, there's plenty of time for additional intriguing advancements to surface that may make 2025 a major year for iPhone aficionados. Next, the iPhone 18 might abolish the display cutout. Here's why it could be a nightmare. In the contemporary smartphone industry, getting the most out of the area on screen is vital. That's why there's a strong drive by the producers of the finest phones to deliver real, uninterrupted screens by removing everything that might get in the way, including cutouts for the front camera and other sensors. I've been thinking about it after reading multiple news pieces on future design ideas for the iPhone, whether it's next year's iPhone 18 or the 20th anniversary iPhone lurking far out on the horizon. A prevalent rumor for both of these phones involves Apple downsizing or doing rid of the pill-shaped cutout on the iPhone's front display, which took the place of the actual notch that defined iPhone screens from 2017 through 2022. When I originally heard about this perspective shift, I was as delighted, but the more I've been thinking about some of the reports, the more frightened I am. The notch initially debuted with the iPhone X as a method for Apple to enlarge the screen of its phone while continuing to reserve room for the front camera and the sensors required for Face ID unlocking. Then, beginning with the iPhone 14 Pro in 2022 and progressing to all iPhones by 2023, the notch made way for a pill-shaped cutout that became a key aspect of Apple's Dynamic Island feature. While the true depth camera and Face ID sensors are positioned in the cutout, it serves another function. It's where the iPhone shows warnings, notifications, and live actions without disrupting the user's present job. The pill is quite apparent and possibly enables the iPhone to stand out from competing devices. In a recent Power On newsletter, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman stated that Apple would decrease the Dynamic Island in the iPhone 18. Meanwhile, the information's Wayne May predicted last month that the iPhone 18 and iPhone 18 Pro will only feature a tiny pinhole cutout in the upper left corner, while the Face ID sensors would be buried behind the display. Why this iPhone display update bothers me. An idea, eliminating the pill would help to make the screen even more smooth than it has previously been post-notch. But I am concerned about how Apple and other app developers will subsequently build their programs and interfaces to conform to this. Currently, the pill-shaped notch is a physical and hence inevitable feature of the iPhone's interface. As a consequence, applications are created around it. For instance, if you browse a website on Google Chrome, you'll notice the pill-shaped cutout put above the address bar at the top of the screen. If this cutout is eliminated, then there's no reason to restrict that section of the screen from being utilized by an app. But it would then imply the Dynamic Island had to pop in every time it's relevant, or stay as a static on-screen cutout. Let's go back to the Chrome web browsing example again. Assume that you're reading something and then the Dynamic Island arrives with an update. It may have to show as an overlay, covering the address bar or text, and if it's a continuous job like listening to music, it would then be there for as long as you're playing songs. Alternatively, if Apple makes sure that each program or feature allows adequate area for the Dynamic Island to emerge, then you wind up with a lot of empty space, which makes applications seem untidy and unorganized. In the spirit of fairness, I will acknowledge that applications already struggle to make the greatest use of the iPhone's screen to disguise the cutout. For instance, many of the finest streaming services tend to make horrible use of display real space. I've also observed that games have a lot of challenges when it comes to disguising the iPhone's camera cutout. Could Apple someday fade out the Dynamic Island? What's more, we're at least a year away from any transformation this drastic. The iPhone 17 series will debut this autumn, and although certain models might see the dynamic island decrease, it's unlikely to go completely. I doubt the dynamic island is going to vanish totally. But as a consequence, Apple and anybody else building applications for the iPhone is going to need to solve the difficulty of finding the island a new home when there's no display cutout to center it around. With several rumors stating a change is in the plans for iPhone beginning in 2026 and beyond, maybe Apple and co. have already started thinking out how to overcome this challenge. And if they haven't, then it's time to start thinking about it. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.